Hello, Kenny Harper here, and in this video I'm talking about how to generate more ideal leads. Welcome to Growth Amplifiers, where we showcase the best tips, resources, and tools to amplify and scale your business. Not all leads are equal. You can definitely get crappy leads of just people who are not really that interested, not that interesting, all concerned about price, and that's no fun. We want ideal leads. We want leads that excite us because we want to have these conversations because we can help these people, we can transform, and these could be really profitable, exciting clients to work with. So how do you do this? Well, you don't do it by chance. You don't do it by running random ads or doing random marketing. You've got to be strategic. So before you even get started, you've got to know who you're selling to and what you're selling, what is the value that you provide. So there are some foundational things you've got to do first. But then once you have those foundations, number one, you craft a focused message, just speaking to your ideal prospects. Not everyone's the same. So a lot of times we get in the trap of thinking, oh, I'll just put out a message and anyone who needs my help, I can help anyone, I can help any business, but that's not really true. Would you want a business that really doesn't care about doing things right? Would you want a business that's struggling to keep the lights on? Would you want a business that's just getting started and doesn't have money to afford you or doing shady work? No, we want businesses that are growth focused. We want businesses that are wanting to put in the time and energy to take the actions needed to improve and get the results that they could. We want businesses that can afford the services that we could provide and would value that because they're getting that transformation. So we want to craft a focused message to them that resonates with what they want, with what their purchase drivers are. Talking about the challenges that they have, talking about their desires, talking about the transformation that they're seeking from a service provider. When you're speaking their language because you really understand them, you understand their demographics, their personality, what type of business they are, then that message will better resonate. For example, if you were marketing to teenagers or beginning entrepreneurs in their young 20s, your messaging would be completely different than if you were speaking to Fortune 500 CEOs or seasoned business owners that are on their last few years getting ready to sell or retire. Your messaging would be different. They would have different concerns, different considerations, so that you need to create a focused message to them. And then here's the thing that I'm going to differentiate from a lot of others. You'll see online that a lot of people will talk about content. You got to create so much content. Content is king. You see this. And content is a valuable element that can help generate awareness, generate engagement, get people to know about your brand and business. Content marketing does work. So I don't want to say that it doesn't or poo on content, but what I do want to say is it's quality versus quantity. And you don't need to be nonstop content, especially if you're a smaller firm, a smaller business, and can't afford the time or the expense of creating a lot of good quality content. Chances are you don't need that much content. You need less content, but better quality. That is something to consider. You could use a focused library of content versus trying to create new content all the time. And you'll see on a lot of these people that have channels out there, social channels out there, you'll see a wall of content being promoted on their social pages or on their blogs. And a lot of times you'll see no one's commenting, no one's liking, no one's sharing. And so it's like you're just shouting into a cave and nothing is happening. However, if you really get focused with your message and make sure that you're getting it in front of the right people and have quality content, you can start seeing action. And if you're consistent with it, you can see consistent action. So really focused messaging, quality versus quantity, and then consistent action. Let me share with you how that works for us. So the first thing that we've done is we've created a transformational program. We've created a program that we help advisors create the marketing and sales system so they get more ideal customers, elevate the value that they provide those customers so that they're increasing the lifetime value of a customer, and make sure that they're cultivating advocates and promoters for their firm. The transformational program, it's systematic, it's been proven, and we've got a lot of social proof for it. Then we've crafted lead magnets. Lead magnets are the assets that you can promote and put out there and go with your content, such as a checklist, such as a quiz or an assessment, or a gated video series, or a webinar, or an event registration, something that people would give their contact information for in exchange for something of value. And the reason why this is beneficial is because if you get someone's attention, you have it for a moment. You want to make sure that you get them to raise their hand if they have interest, what you have to say. Otherwise, you may not get their attention again because it's very busy. Put out content, guide them to download your lead magnet, give their contact information so you can continue that conversation, so you can stay in touch, stay engaged. And then we create content from our program. So one of my favorite things to do that we help advisors do is when they have a program, we help them develop their program, and then we create content that's splinters of the whole, right? So you have a whole program, and then we take a piece of that and we market a piece of that into content. We write a blog post or do a video talking about it, just a small section of the whole. And then we say, this is one tip, this is one piece of the pie. If you'd like the whole pie, you'd like a checklist, or you'd like to see our free training on this, or you'd like to assess your business to see where your gaps are, go to our webpage, download our lead magnet, and take that action. So by creating that pieces of content, rather than just creating all the content nonstop, we're giving someone a taste so that they can come back to the whole. And then of course you got to share and promote. A mistake I see a lot of people making is they'll create something, they'll put it out there, they'll share it once, and then you may never see it again. And they'll create new content and post it. And they're speaking to a cave. But if you share it, you can share it multiple times. You can promote it. You can put ads boost on it to make sure that people are seeing it. Share it directly to people. Share it directly to groups or associations of people that you're targeting. And then as people start engaging with it, point it back to your lead magnet, and then make sure that you're continuing that conversation from there. So it's really strategic. It's all aligned. That's perhaps the biggest thing of all of this stuff. All of this stuff is it's all aligned. Rather than creating nonstop content, you're creating very focused content, guiding people through the value journey, and that way you're doing it consistently and getting consistent results. Cool thing is, when you do this effectively and you're tracking the different stages of the value journey and the right metrics, you can see if you have any bottlenecks that are preventing anything from flowing smoothly. And if you see those things come up, you can take the actions needed to remove those bottlenecks. So everything is running like an engine. And last but not least, engaging directly with people. So if you want to connect with particular prospects, particular clients, don't approach them and think, I'm going to try to push my services on them. You're going to push them away. Engage with them and share things of value with them. If you have something that would help save them time or help them get better results or help them make more money or help align their team, share those assets with them. Engage directly and build that relationship. Ultimately, businesses are fueled by relationships. So engaging with people directly, having those conversations are very valuable. What are your amplifier actions? What works for you to get more ideal leads consistently? Love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear what works for you. Any strategies, tips, tools, books, things of that nature. Put them in the comments. I'm talking about a success story of helping a client achieve more ideal leads. One of my clients was an HR consultant, and she had received a lot of her business through referrals. And as mentioned many times, referrals are perhaps one of the best ways that you can get business. However, referrals do have their challenges. Number one, they're harder to control. And number two, you don't always get the best referrals. Unless you've generated a really good client base and you get those ideal referrals, that's the sweet spot. But Melissa didn't have that. She had a decent client base, a few good clients, a lot of middle clients, and then a couple that she just needed to let go of. And she had met some different people who've tried to help her out and told her she needed to be doing content. She should run some ads. And she was just didn't have the time, patience to deal with content. She wanted to generate some quick business. So she hired someone to help her run some ads. She was completely underwhelmed with the ad leads. Have you ever ran some ads? These are the weakest leads. These people don't even seem that interested in my service. They're just price shopping anyway. And they're actually taking me more time to have these leads than if I didn't in the first place. So she was underwhelmed and frustrated. And I said, Melissa, I know, ads can be effective, but it depends on what you're trying to achieve. Really works good for consumer products. I mean, you could do it for business as well, but you can also get the wrong leads and then it's not very helpful. So who would you like to have more business from? You said, ultimately, I love working with law firms. I said, all right, well, if you want to have more law firms that you're working with, how are you getting your message to your market? She says, well, I go to networking events. I'm part of a networking group. So that's great. But are you connecting and putting your message right in front of those law firms? Because you can look the law firms up. You can look the attorneys up, connect directly with them and start building those relationships. I said, no. I said, well, how about if we launch a direct response campaign? This is where we already know who your ideal client is. And then we create very focused message, not necessarily to get their business, but to get connected so they have awareness, engage with them, begin sharing some things that would be valuable to them so they know who we are, what we're about, the value we provide, turn a look into a stare. Then we can engage the conversation and get them to raise their hand if we could potentially help them out. But we'll never get the business if, number one, they don't know who we are. Number two, they don't know why they would potentially need our help. Three, if we haven't made it clear why us versus someone else. So we launched this direct response campaign. And then this is the coolest thing. She began to really choose her clients because she was getting all these different connections, starting these conversations. And then it was like she was interviewing her clients versus having to kind of hope her clients would hire her. She could have the conversations and determine which would be the best fit, which one would listen to her, would follow her processes, would be able to afford her. And she was in much more control. And that's ultimately what happened is she felt more empowered and in control. Because when she was just running ads while she was getting leads, they were just kind of at her whim, and she would either get, I don't even want to talk to this person, but I've got to now because they filled out the form. But now she could determine who she's targeting, who she wants to have those conversations with. And it's not that you always get every piece of business that you market to, but now you're influencing and being able to create and craft and build the relationships with more A prospects. So then you're going to get more A clients. And then if you provide A good service, then you're going to get more A referrals. You're going to have advocates and promoters promoting your brand and being the go-to for your ideal customer. So that is a success story. I'd love to hear something that worked for you, a success story. If you have something that you'd like to share with Growth Amplifiers, please let us know. We're looking for guests for our podcast to share these success stories. Thank you so much. Keep on amplifying. To show your support, take a moment to amplify this message by sharing it online. To connect with me or gain more business growth insights, visit www.growthamplifiers.com. Thank you for your support.